I'm just scared. I'm scared that the cork will fall through now. I'm scared that when we close it, the bottle explodes. There's no plan B.
We're going to recork some bottles of Grand Constance 1821. What we'll be trying to do is to recover as much as possible of what is a national treasure for the wine industry.
This is a piece of history of all Africa. One of the only wine that was known around the world. And this vintage, 1821, is actually the year Napoleon died. It's like a time capsule.
We must understand that in the beginning of the 1800s, bottles were hand blown or mold blown. It took weeks of preparation. We had to first look into the condition of the bottle, if there were any cracks. We tried to understand what were the bottleneck profile, and we must understand that from bottle to bottle we have 2-3 millimeters variability.
Okay.
We look into fractures on the bottle to identify where is the cork placed and what type of corkscrew we're going to need.
Okay, we can see the cork.
So it will be interesting to see after more than 100 years how these corks are looking and how they hold it in the bottle.
You can see the cork might have been like 20 millimeter, even not. So now I'm gonna try to make sure that nothing is glued on the side. So I'm gonna, with my blade, like a scalpel, take any residual sugar away. So it's like freeing the cork from the side. But the most important was to secure it, so now it won't fall into it.
Well done, John.
It's not here yet. Very similar,
Yes.
probably hammered down. So immediately it's protected by the argon, which is heavier than hair. But at least I can smell a bit of it. So more than likely I was smelling air from 1883, before global warming. Maybe it was a time in London with a lot of coal in the air, and the sulfur in the air was protecting the wine. Let's get the cork ready. Now I'm gonna put just a microdose of sulfur. Any oxygen that might be brought in by the cork will be neutralized by the antioxidant effect of the sulfur that will bind with the oxygen. More than likely the way they did in the old days. And use the next part for the next bottle. Now the long neck with a lot of red wax. And the first bottle of that type I do.
Wax, it's quite solid at this stage, so removing it really, really slowly to avoid damaging the bottle.
Okay, so what was under here?
Expand again.
Because we actually left it for 20 seconds.
Ooh, okay. Then I never saw that. I don't know who did put the red wax on it, but that saved the wine. There is vacuuming, so the wax has been doing the work of protecting. Can you see there?
Yeah, scraping hole.
Removing the cork really, really carefully. It takes time, sometimes takes more than 10 minutes to remove one cork.
Yes, it's coming.
try to remove it intact to avoid any piece falling into the magic liquid.
Yes.
Once that is done, remove all the wax that was on the sides, put new wax and store it this time 100% perfectly for South Africans in 100 or 200 years time to have the same experience.
Voilà.
I think recorking is very valuable and a very good idea. It's like giving them new legs. I think it was in the 70s or the 80s, we got to hear about Sotheby's auction in London. When we saw these Groot Constantia wines, we immediately were very, very interested. I knew Patrick Grubb, who was with Sotheby's, and asked him to put a bid in for us for these wines. We got a very special price, luckily a very special price for it in those days, but I think maybe it was something like about £500 that we paid for them, per bottle. We would maybe resell them, but possibly we would also use them at a special wine tasting, really to show that we were making good wine in South Africa many, many centuries ago, not just in the 90s and the 2000s.